It was really the last week, Jumano, where we just saw a string of red because we weren't doing too badly in terms of pricing coming into this week at that kind of higher half of the 60s. Now we're well into that lower half of the 60s today. So it's just as the market watched what was going on in terms of the economy, the global economy, the U.S. economy, trade talks, were the talks on with China? Were they not on with China? Were we having progress on deals? Were we not having progress on deals? By the end of the month, it was looking like the U.S. and China were not talking, according to the Chinese, Trump saying something else. So we weren't really seeing through into what was going to be a solution. So the market had been kind of buoyed a little bit by the indications that things weren't going to be perhaps as bad as they thought. And as that view got a little bit worse, we did see that string of red ink over this past week. And that's only increased today after those negative results from the GDP. So we see that there is an impact in the economy.
Okay, so that's the macro recap. Let's talk about some of the supply factors as well, because if you rewind back to the beginning of April, you had the so-called Liberation Day on April the 2nd. It was a few days afterwards that OPEC Plus surprised the market by bringing forward or combining extra production and accelerating the amount of output that they're going to be putting back to the market. So we've got another meeting coming up on May the 5th. Their reports, our own reporting, suggesting that they may announce something similar again.
Yeah, so we're at that point again where we've got another OPEC meeting where they do decide on this kind of month-to-month basis how much to increase. They've got a plan in place to bring all their production back by the end of next year. But the surprise last year was that instead of bringing back just over 100,000 barrels a day, they brought back over 400,000 barrels a day. So that's the question that is in the mind of markets. What is it going to be? Is it going to be this smaller increase, or is it going to be that bigger one? Of course, OPEC could decide not to increase, which they have done in the past. But at this point, we've seen a shift in OPEC policy where it seems like they are willing to take the hit now in order to stop foregoing market share and try to get those barrels back into the market and take that hit now. And perhaps there's also a political point as well, because Donald Trump has really said that he wants the lower oil prices, pressured OPEC and OPEC Plus to do it. So it seems like they are deciding to take that hit, get the extra barrels on, and perhaps take some of that political benefit. On top of that, we're also not seeing any negative supply impulses. The Iran-U.S. talks seem to be going well. If we get a deal there, that probably means more oil on the market. We've seen Venezuela come out. That was always a smaller portion of supply, so we're not really seeing negative supply news that would support the oil price either, as we go into this week where we expect possibly even more than expected OPEC supply.